Hey guys, thanks for clicking on the video and thanks for watching January's short. I hope you enjoyed watching it as much as I enjoyed making it, although just by watching it you didn't get to eat the pasta at the end, which was kind of the best part. I wanted to do a quick behind the scenes kind of video to just go through the process of making the short and some of the challenges that I faced in doing that, because the whole point of this project is for me to learn, and I feel like it's helpful for me to share some of the things that I have learned. So quite early on in the process I decided that I wanted to do a cooking video. Part of the rationale behind that was that I wanted to focus on just framing and shooting video, and doing a cooking video would allow me to just focus on the framing of each shot, you know, rather than trying to work in any fancy camera movements or weird angles and stuff like that. Over the past couple of years I've started watching a lot more cooking videos on YouTube. People like Binging with Babish, J. Kinji Lopez Alt, Ethan Chlebowski, but the person that I was most inspired by for this video was a guy called Alvin Joe. He's a producer at Tasty, but he also has his own YouTube channel where he makes these really calming cinematic cooking videos that just have some really gorgeous cinematography. If you haven't watched them, then go and check them out. So I was just trying to capture some of that same kind of feeling as his videos. So pre-production, I found the value of storyboarding. This is probably a no-brainer to a lot of people out there, but it turns out that planning each shot and just drawing it out and just thinking it through is a real help in the shooting process. I had an advantage in that I was shooting a process that I'm very familiar with because I make this pasta all the time, which meant that there were no big surprises in the process of actually putting all of those shots together. One challenge that I did realise that I would come across during the pre-production process was that because it's a linear process with different stages needing to happen at different times, it would make it quite difficult to batch shots. You know, if there's shots from similar angles, it wouldn't really be easy to do all of those at the same time. But I think just taking the time to just plan and think ahead about what I was actually going to be doing on the day of shooting helped immeasurably. So that's something I'm definitely going to try and take forward into future shorts that I'm going to be making this year. Where this became a real advantage was actually in the shooting process. Because I planned everything out beforehand, it was literally just a case of going and checking my shot list, setting the camera up and rolling. I did run into some challenges getting the types of shots that I'd initially envisioned during the pre-production process. For one thing, I've got a really crappy cheap tripod which couldn't really handle things like overhead shots. The weight distribution just isn't right, and if I tried to angle the camera too far down then the whole thing would just topple over. Similarly, it only extends to about 3.5 feet tall, so I couldn't really get any particularly high shots. That's something that I'm just gonna have to work with for the time being until I am able to invest in a better tripod. But knowing that from this shooting process, I'm going to be able to take that into future shorts and just be able to plan my shots a bit better. The other major challenge that I ran into was lighting, because it turns out getting good quality natural light in northern England in mid-January is not as easy as it sounds. I think I started shooting at about 3 p.m. and I had about an hour of natural light before it got dark. That's definitely something I'm going to have to negotiate with in my February short, but after that point, hopefully I'll start getting longer periods of daylight in which to shoot. When it came to the edit, everything came together pretty easily. Again, the advantage of shooting a linear process meant that by the time I'd imported all of my shots into Premiere, they were all in order anyway, so I didn't have to go through and sort and reorder them. So that was kind of a big job that I didn't have to do. When it came to actually editing, Premiere Pro has been through quite a few updates since the last time I used it regularly, so there was a bit of a learning curve there, but that'll get better as the year goes on. Another thing that I realised in the editing process is that it's a really good thing to overshoot footage. I think I ended up with about 30 to 35 minutes of footage, and cutting that down into a sub 3-minute short was a real journey. That is just frankly too many minutes. I think in the past when I've been shooting things, I've cut the shots off really abruptly and not really given myself very much wiggle room. But for this one, I tried to extend the shot by sort of 10 to 20 seconds each, which just gave me a lot more breathing space and room to play with how long the different shots are going to be. So that's definitely something that I'm going to be trying to do again in future. So to wrap up, I think even though this was quite a simple short, I did feel like I learned a lot from doing it. Even a lot of those things that probably seem like no-brainers, it's just trying to regain that muscle memory that I used to have from shooting stuff, and also trying to avoid some of the bad habits that I used to fall into. But I'll definitely be taking all of these lessons forward into February's short, which should be coming out at the end of the month. I'm already pretty well underway with it, so fingers crossed it'll come out okay. Let me know in the comments if you think that this kind of video is helpful or useful or interesting. I think I found the process of just talking this stuff out to be quite helpful, but except that that may not be the case for everybody watching. Thanks for watching. All of the usual social links and website and stuff are in the description below, so follow, like, subscribe, all of the usual things that you're supposed to do. And the next thing that will be going up on this channel is February's short, so I hope that you check that out and enjoy it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.